Mike Santiago's got to work fast because Gentleman George is no slouch. He knows that if he leaves Gentleman George standing for too long, he's going to get a second win back, and it's going to be lights out for Santiago. So he wants to put him away really soon.
Santiago with the arm bar, now taking his down to the mat and working on the left arm of Gentleman George Michael.
Look at this. Gentleman George is not going to tap out that soon.
Well, yeah, this
that basic.
I was just going to say, Z-Man, this can turn into, or is turning into a submission hold. Santiago breaks the hold. Continues to torque that arm of Gentleman George.
Look at this. Santiago relentlessly working on that arm. Like a true sore loser. Wants to make it hard for everyone else to earn a living here in wrestling. Wants to put other people out of commission.
Santiago getting that 2 count, continuing with Gentleman George another 2 count, and continuing to work the mat in this matchup.
Santiago wants to give Gentleman George's arm the cleaver treatment, and by that I'm referring to how Cleaver messed with Santiago's arm several weeks ago in Portland. Possibly it could have ended Mike Santiago's career, but he's resilient. I'll give him that. He came back from that. Now he's 100%. Now he wants to do the same thing to George and risk his career.
Both men on their feet in the middle of the ring.
Wait a minute.
Gentleman George he had his fist. He had his fist completely closed.
Oh, come on. I've seen worse get passed for that.
Our referee Jay Stone stopping that, and Santiago sending Gentleman George Michael to the mat. And there's a big elbow drop. Lifts the leg with a 2 count.
Unbelievable. Jay Stone must be going to the Jeff Manning School of Refereeing because that was a completely bogus call. These people here in the fans, they're chanting, break it, break it. They want to see Gentleman George Michael's arm broken, which is a completely classless move to do. I mean, this is a man's career we're talking about here. It's his livelihood.
Mike Santiago still working the left arm of George Michael, ducking the elbow, countering with a chop, countering with another elbow, sending George Michael across the ring. George Michael coming off the ropes to get another big elbow from Mike Santiago.
Look at this, going right back to the arm of Santiago. He doesn't want to let up.
Well, he can't let up at this point because George Michael, you know how crafty he is. That's why he's the 8-time WC champion.
That's exactly right.
George Michael trying to get to the ropes.
He's an 8-time champion for a reason. He is one of the best in the business today, here in the Northwest or anywhere else. Look at that. Like I said, very resilient, one of the best in the biz.
Getting that elbow right in the eye of Santiago, now big boot to the head.
All it takes is a well-placed, well-timed elbow to the mush. And that's all it takes for Gentleman George Michael, the gentleman manager for the night, as I'm calling it. That's all it takes for him to regain control.
Santiago, after George pleads his case to our referee Jay Stone, retaliates, and now is sent to the mat by that big clothesline.
That's what it takes. Look at this.
Big body slam from Gentleman George Michael, and it looks like a knee drop.
A knee drop right into the eye, the orbital bone of Mike Santiago. That could give him a black eye right there. But you see, Gentleman George, that's how tough of a wrestler he is. He had his arm worked on for the first 5 minutes of the match, but he worked through the pain and is able to body slam Santiago, lifting him up with those arms of his. He's feeling fine now. And look at this, going for the Royal Flush.
Santiago counters by flipping George out of the move, and now both men are down.
That could have been it right there. All it takes is one application of the Royal Flush, and then Mike Santiago can flush his dreams of victory right down the drain.
Both men going out of the middle of the ring. Santiago whipped into the corner. Big head scissors. Sends George back to the ring. And he's out.
George is out. Referee Jay Stone, you better call this match off. I mean, I don't think he can continue. Mike Santiago's got to let up. I mean, he's a man possessed here tonight.
Call the match off?
Exactly.
You don't call the match off. You let it go
George
till there's a winner.
Gentleman George has to live to fight another day, and there's another elbow, that running elbow he's known
Santiago
for.
with a cover and gets a 2.5 count. Wow.
That match could have been it. I mean, can you imagine what a morale killer it would have been for the faction to have the interim the gentleman manager, I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's catchy. Wait a minute, no.
He hooks the leg and gets a 2. I thought that was going to be it, Z-Man.
Can you imagine what it would do to the morale of the faction? Can you imagine how JT Allen would feel coming back from his well-deserved, well-earned vacation to the Caribbeans, comes back to find out that Gentleman George Michael lost a match to Mike Santiago, a man who's not even close to his weight and height? Look at this.
He would be stunned. He hooks the leg and gets 2.
Mike Santiago from Tacoma, Washington. He is outweighed by Gentleman George Michael. I don't know the pound-to-stone conversion rate, but right now he's got the advantage.
Gentleman George is getting a foreign object. He's got it in his hand. He's putting it in his elbow.
I don't see it. I thought he was adjusting his elbow pad.
No. There's a foreign object in there. I saw it.
Roaring elbow.
Oh, and there's the foreign object.
Well, there's the royal flush.
That's the royal flush. There's the cover. Rolls him up.
And there you
and
go.
Gets the 3 count and the win.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that is why Gentleman George Michael, that's why he's a former 8-time champion. That's why he was given the task of becoming the general manager for the weekend, because this man knows how to win matches. Flat out, bottom line, no questions asked. Mike Santiago, he was out for blood, he was out for vengeance, but he fell short, and now his whole goal just totally fell short. Now who looks like the idiot? Who looks like the doofus? We're trying to challenge Gentleman George Michael in the faction.
Well, you stated early on in the matchup, Z-Man, that Gentleman George Michael is an 8-time champion here in the WC, but I'd say maybe at least an 8-time user in championship matches of that foreign object. We've seen it time and time again.
You know, it could be 8, it could be 800, but the fact of the matter remains, Gentleman George Michael comes out on top. The faction's looking great, and you know what? The faction's not over tonight. If you thought that this match was impressive, you better wait and see until the main event.
The main event this evening is going to be very, very impressive. We are looking at Ryan Taylor and Brandon Gatson. That's a WC championship matchup and a headliner anywhere in the Pacific Northwest.
But we got it right here tonight in Springfield, Oregon. Gatson and Taylor for the WCWC title. It's tonight's main event.